part of the old system. They were part of the old system, trying to prevent these people from taking over the system.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think it was always taken over. I think it was always controlled. In England, the British Empire was.
Do that. I think it all started, as you say, from the Middle East. It started there, and they moved. They needed to. The West was the advanced technology.
Day 2, take 4, take 1.
Well, they made deals for it. I don't know. Deals. So going back to the Bible.
Yeah.
Well, going with the Bible story. You're saying the Bible was basically what? It was created by these gods, by these aliens for us. I mean, you're saying because there's prophecy that has to be fulfilled. They knew the prophecy, so they created the condition. They wrote it to be fulfilled.
Yeah.
Right.
I think when I first started off, they say I'm not a scientist and I'm not a psychologist and I'm not a historian. But the way I see it is this: I think people were curious to what they were, where they come from. And because of that, they invent gods. They know things happened, something brought them here. You see, so they believe there were gods coming from the heavens. You see? And I think that story, people who couldn't write properly or didn't even have the materials to write properly, scratched it out on things. And I think people, like now, I think people get these ideas, they exaggerate on them, the stories grow. People follow these religious groups, I'm not familiar with the names of these groups, but some of them even kill themselves, commit suicide. And I think that the people that we were on about taking over saw the advantage in it. I think they saw the advantage in that. And they said, that's great, we'll go along with this. And they took over it. Then they started adding their stories to it. And I think these stories gradually grew, and the bits that didn't like they took out, until you ended up with what we've got now is the Bible. Because you got the first and second edition or something like that, don't you? And it contradicts itself, Thou shalt not kill. And yet that's all he ever did.
Well, again, going to talk about the Mosaic law, the tablets, the commandments. Do you think that Moses had the emerald tablets? Did he find it from the Egyptians? Did he take it from Egypt, or what do you think about this?
Okay.
The Jews, particularly learning the Jews coming from the Egyptians, for example, right? This story.
Yeah. Okay. You go back a lot further than what we're being told. I understand that the technology, just like we put our technology on computers or disks, right? They did. They had that. They needed it.
Mm-hmm.
They might not.
John, could you just you pitch your mic a bit so it's a little bit.
Is it on?
No, it's just it's on. I'll switch it back on.
Right. Okay. Sorry about that.
No, you put your hand.
Right. Sorry. Where were we?
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Let me.
You just spilled something. Hold on.
Yeah. Let me throw this.
I'll get that there.
It's an interruption, isn't it? Interruption.
Try these things.
No, it's not going to be good. I need some napkins. Thank you.
Some entities must have knocked your tea over there to break things up.
I think so. They were trying to distract this point.
Do you want to?
No, it's fine. I'll be fine.
Do you want to? I mean, if you
Did you not see that grey that passed through the room, knocked his tea over?
It was a green. It was a green. It was actually a green out of grey. A greenie.
I'll ask for some more paper.
Huh?
Are you okay?
Oh, I'm fine. I got plenty.
Put that on I'll put those on a radiator next.
Oh, that's fine. I'll be fine. Yeah. This will be fine.
They're still recording, aren't they? So
Okay.
Go ahead. They're still recording, are they?
Yeah, still recording.
Good. Okay. Right. Where were we?
So you said that wait, you took my coffee.
You got his coffee? Got the lad's coffee?
But I found this new one.
You didn't put something in it, did you? No, okay, you're okay.
He just spiked it.
Yeah, he just spiked it.
Yeah, you were talking about the tablet, the emerald tablets.
Well, again,
with Moses and the Jewish legacy, which you say is older.
Well, the Hebrews.
Hebrew, exactly. Now it's called Jewish. But
Yeah. They changed it in some way. I don't know. I wasn't there at the time.
Are you sure you weren't?
I don't know. We could have been.
You're talking about past lives.
Yeah. Well, again, that did happen. We've proved that. We've proved that people can go somewhere. They know exactly what's around the next corner for all they've never been to that country before. There's a lot of evidence to prove that we do come back with information, with skills.
Mm-hmm.
You say, we can prove that. I like it when we can prove something. If you cannot prove it, forget about it.
Right.
You know, or you can still investigate it. Again, when you're talking about, you know fine well that if we look at the pyramids, whatever built them had to have advanced technology of some sort. You can't move 30 stones weighing 30 tons and 50 tons and 300 tons.
No.
You couldn't have done it with bits of vine. You just couldn't have done it. So the evidence is there that it was a highly intelligent race that put them there. Whatever happened, that race left. It definitely left. But they couldn't get back. That's the story I was told. That the people that, whatever name you want to call them, whatever their name was, they left. And they were doing what they do with me. They could enter into other dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But they couldn't bring, as far as I understand, they couldn't bring anything solid back with them. Do you understand? They couldn't bring back instruments with them. They can't do it. For whatever reason. When they first came here, they brought that technology with them. How they got here, I don't know. But I know that when they left, and the bodies that they were supposed to come back into were dead. They couldn't return. The people that they left behind in charge had to leave the area because the local tribes attacked them when they knew their god or the chiefs or their power didn't return. They found out about it. That's the story I was told. The whites, or whatever color, whatever you want to call them, they moved north. Some headed into China, because it wouldn't have been called China then. And then they moved west, and that's where they ended up. The people that took over the pyramids then started to put their mark on the pyramids. They started to use the pyramids for what they wanted to use them. But the pyramids went dead. Then the floods came.
They went dead.
They were totally dead then. Because the mechanism that they had set up to make them operate was there until the floods came.
So the floods knocked the pyramids
the floods
out.
knocked them completely out, completely.
So the floods were probably a polar shift.
Pardon?
I said the floods could have been a polar shift.
It could have been anything. All I know that the 90...
pyramids? What were they? What did they do?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I was told they were there to direct their energy into various dimensions. So they were inside of the pyramids when this took place. They had these, all I remember was they did a drawing of these square objects that appeared to be made out of granite or something like that, because they were shiny. And they showed us pictures of them. They had a lid on the top, and you place these at the corners of the pyramids, on the four corners. There should be 12 of them out there,
mm-hmm.
if not more, but there should be 12. And they put these on the corners, and whatever took place in those, a beam of light ran up the corner, the edges of the pyramids, and they crisscrossed each other. There was something in the middle, in the top of the pyramid, that made it look like a diamond shape, like two pyramids stuck together. What's the terminology for that again? People wear them around their neck. Like two pyramids interlocked. What's that called?
Something like, it's a sign of, I see, it's the sign of David. It's the Jewish star, it's the hexagram.
Yeah, no, but if you get two pyramids and put them together and interlock them, you have the two pyramids interlocked together. Well, that's what the top of the pyramid looked like.
Not
in the
up
lights.
and down, not like not a hexagram. You're talking about two pyramids.
Like this. Can I?
Show me.
Can I draw it? Can somebody draw that?
Yeah.
So if you've got a pyramid which has got four sides to it.
Yeah.
If you put another one upside down, I can't do it like this, So you've got the two pyramids, together like that. You've got two pyramids interlocked.
But not like. Let me see.
See, you've got a pyramid. If you turn that upside down,
let me show you this.
Show that.
Is this what you're talking about? No, not yet.
Wait till it's finished. It's.
Are you talking about this?
Let's look. Yeah, sort of, but instead of just being single lines, if you take it as two pyramids together, you know, the four corners of the pyramids together.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? So you get a pyramid and a pyramid, you put them together. They wouldn't. That looks just like that's the Star of David, as you say.
Yeah, but you're talking about the Merkaba.
A Merkaba. Is that what? Yeah, I think that's
yes.
what. It's, anyway, that's what took place.
The Merkaba is three-dimensional. You can actually see all four. You can
four
see
sides of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, well that took place in the top of the pyramids.
Yes, exactly.
So they had the lights being reflected, and that's what you would see if you were looking at it.
So the Merkaba, right?
Yeah. So you would see that on top of the pyramids, right? And then from that, they would see a beam of light coming from that, and then the beam of light would disappear.
And that's where
their energies and soul leaving through the pyramids.
Right.
That's what I was told.
Got you. That was a transit point.
Yeah. And there had to be in a certain place, lined up with certain planets, for that to happen.
So this is when the gods left.
That's right. And when they tried to return, the body that they wanted to return in had been attacked and destroyed. And they couldn't get back.
They couldn't get back.
That's right. So in other words, say for instance, when I was going through that one step beyond thing, and my energy was starting to leave the body, but it was still there, attached to my body. That's how it could send the messages back, had that connection. If they had killed me then, my energy would have run straight back and been in that other body.
Yeah, you wouldn't have come back.
I wouldn't have came back. And that happened, apparently.
Sure.
Yeah. So you would have that guy then, that other person that I had entered would have a dual personality. The other person that my energy went into. Dual. Right? He would keep changing. And probably with the knowledge I had that caveman or whatever that Bigfoot had, he would be coming out with skills that none of the others had. Every time my energy took over.
So did
and that's what's taking place now. That's what happens now.
But did the 16 ever talk about the Anunnaki returning, or the gods return? Not the Anunnaki, but the gods, like the creators, ever being able to return, or in the future they'll return?
And what they were saying, I'm not making this up as I'm going around. I'm trying to make sure I get it in the right words. Because it's a long, long time ago, and it's 55 years ago, and I've got to try and remember. Because I remember everything they said in regards to that was not like a program. We're just sitting talking about it. Understand? We're sitting having tea.
Yeah.
And then they realised what they were talking about. They look at me, and then they would make some excuse and get up and walk away. Because they were felt relaxed, and they used to talk about it. But they didn't talk about it the way me and you were talking about it. They used to say, I wonder if they get back. And they say, well, they should if this takes place and if that takes place. We've got to make sure that they can get back. And they used to use words like that. I didn't know what the hell they were talking about until later on, and it was explained a little bit more in detail. But they say that this lot used to say words like, used to change the accent. And they say, well, if this lot gets back, if this lot carries on the way they do, they'll never get back. So you make whatever you like of that. They used to say, if this lot carries on, and if they get this information that we are looking for, then they're not going to get back. And I used to keep on saying, well, who's there? You know,
was that a good thing or a bad thing? That if they didn't come back?
No, if they didn't come, well, no. Again, we can, if people were aware of what's going on, then it would stop these entities, or whatever you want to call them, from creating a new world order. Because the people at the top, or the people we call bloodlines, are going along with them at the top who are not people. That's what I was told. So you make whatever you like of that. I can't go any further with that.
Right, but the ones at the top were still on Earth. It wasn't like they were communicating with aliens from a different...
No, they're here. I understand that they're here and they look like us. And that's what made that film thrive. They live, I should say.
Right.
That's what made that film really made me I was really surprised when that film came out, to be honest with you. You see, I looked at that film and I interpreted different to where most people interpreted that film. They couldn't understand that long fight with that white guy and the Negro guy. Now, what they were telling, what I believe, and I think was rather obvious, why the fight went on so long, was to prove that for all you can see, like me, struggling to tell you what's really going on, you're not going to believe it. You'll not wear the bloody glasses.
Right.
I can't get you to wear them. I'm bringing you around, but you're still refusing to wear them.
Well, you haven't put me through the machine either.
You still getting on the subject. You know what I'm on about, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
That Negro wouldn't wear those glasses. He had to be forced to wear them.
Right.
That's what you've got to do with the public. If you want people to see, you've got to get a hold of them, tie them up, and stick the bloody glasses on them. That's what they were telling you. And what they were telling you, which was rather obvious. Remember when the first policeman came into the back lane, into that back, do you call them back lanes or alley, right? And he was confronted with him. And he put the glasses on and he saw it was a normal guy, right? He says, beat it, go, now. When he turned around, there was 3 more policemen come, but they looked like robots of some sort.
Aliens,
right?
Yeah.
That's what they were trying to tell you. 3 out of every 4 people out there are programmed who are working for them, and some of them are unaware. It's the people who stop the people from getting to the people at the top. That's what they were trying to tell you. The elite do nothing. We do it to ourselves.
Right.
That's the big story.
That's it.
That's it. We're the ones that stop them. We're the ones that's protecting them. We're the ones that listen to their crap. That's where the big problem lies. That film, to me, was, told you the story. But because they put the little bit in the end about other aliens and that, what was it? There was something on the rooftop that destroyed it. Right? But it's not.
It was a broadcast signal. It was a signal, basically, that was hiding the truth, right?
That's right.
Because it was a disruptor. The whole point was that
Sky TV.
It was basically to say that people. And he said it was a disruption thing, because the idea was that you could see that they were aliens, but the problem was that the disruption had made them look human. So that it was like basically it was like a reverse of the goggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when they were in various different places and they did something they were watching and it disappeared, right? That's what turned the thing.
Oh, that's what it was. They were mass broadcasting a signal that would brainwash people.
Yeah.
So that they couldn't see the aliens. And the whole point was that it was like when the signal was disrupted, it was like the glasses came on, so that you basically were able to see reality.
Yeah.
When the signal was down, all of a sudden, the TV was broadcasting the signel, so that if the signal stops, I can look around the room and see, oh, there's 3 aliens in this room.
Well, okay, well, the other one is, what actually, the way I see it is this. When you put the glasses on, then you can see the aliens, right? But you see, you can't get glasses. You can't see them. We are just saying, if there was a pair of glasses, then you'd be able to see them. But there isn't. So therefore, you'll never be able to see them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they were telling you. Mm-hmm. You're not going to see them. And then they turned it into something more, a bit of a comedy or an exaggeration by when they did that, where they're watching it disappear through the ground up and up. Right? That turned it, people then looked at it as though it was just another sci-fi film.
Yeah.
We're not capable of doing that. This body won't do that. No matter what you do, you can't get this body to do that. The body would just disintegrate. You can't get a solid body just to pass through walls. Do you understand? Mm. It has to be your energy can.
Yeah.
Your soul and energy can pass through anything.
Yeah.
You see? Because the frequencies, they don't coincide. See, I hate using that again, that everything is a frequency, because then it gives credence to other people that are saying that there are these, like the David Icks of the world and things like that. It gives them credence, you see, and I don't like doing it. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, they have listened to a lot of people, stole the ideas and come up with these ridiculous things, which to me, it's all new world order stuff. But again, this body is restricted. We can't go anywhere. This body can't go anywhere. Literally. I mean, if the bloody weather changes, it affects it.
Yeah.
The weather changing, just the temperature can kill her.
Yeah.
That's how sensitive we are.
Mm-hmm.
And you want us to go in space. It's absolute rubbish. There's so much radiation out there as well.
Well,
They say the Earth's frequency that keeps us alive.
well, again, they say the gold is integral to this radiation thing. What do they tell you about the gold dust?
The gold's got nothing to do with this body.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know.
Well, we know we have gold in our blood. There is gold in us. It's part of our makeup.
Okay.
The gold is a very unique thing. But what do they tell you about the gold dust?
Where is the gold in us?
It's in the blood.
I know, but how do we know that? Is what we're being told that?
No,
I can't say. I've never seen
it's
any.
minute. It's not a huge.
Pardon?
It's not. It's a very minute amount, but it's still part of our makeup because gold is what makes all things.
Well,
on
the
this
fact that we drink water and we eat things from the ground. Do you understand? There's got to be something that, like you say, we need acids to digest food, right? We have to create acids. We need a system that can take out of the water what the body needs. So there's a chemical factory going on here, right? So obviously the things that you're talking about are going to be in there, you know, because, you know, what everything we eat is taken from the soil.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so like I say, I'm not a biologist, I'm not a scientist in any way. So therefore, the things that we're eating, we're drinking, we're eating, some of that has got to be in us somewhere. Do you understand? The chemicals, whatever. So this gold business, this gold could be in there. I don't know what the reason, why it's there.
But they did tell you about gold dust. And what does gold dust mean, or what does that have to do with?
Gold dust, all I knew was it fed some kind of energy. That's all I was told.
What do you mean it?
It was just like coal in a steam engine.
Mm-hmm.
When I questioned them about it, they used some kind of terminology like that. They said, "Oh, it's just a fuel supply."
Gold.
Yeah,
Right.
it was some kind of fuel supply. But they didn't go any further because I wasn't there for that reason. I just heard they used to talk about that sort of thing, and I used to listen in.
Right.
Not deliberately, I just happened to be there, you know.
But again, this is why I'm just thinking there's got to be something to do with gold in this story, because if they're talking about gold as a fuel supply.
Where does the gold go? Do you know where the gold goes? I mean, at the moment they seem to be using it as a form of currency, like Germany wants their gold back.
Well,
right?
it's always been a form of currency. It's always had an value. My question is why? Why would humans? Why would humans value gold unless the gods?
Well, anything that's hard to come by. If you look at gold, it has no real purpose. You can only make jewelry out of it.
It's a conductor.
It's
very strong.
But even so, copper. People use copper.
Yeah.
Sometimes we use gold in our mobile phones. I believe. I think it's gold in our mobile phones.
No, but it's more conducive than copper. It protects against radiation.
I was told I was gold. There was a program on TV saying it was gold in the phone.
Really?
Yeah, that's why people were buying up all the old.
Purely for a conductive purpose in the chips.
It's a very powerful conductor.
Yeah.
As I said, it protects against radiation, which is why they put it in the astronaut shields, and it's part of spacecraft. It's very important. So I'm wondering what they mean by fuel.
Gold is very heavy, isn't it? It's a very heavy thing. So it's like I said, it's like aircraft. If you take an aircraft, diesel is the best form of fuel for an aircraft. But the aircraft can't use it because it's a lot heavier than petrol or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
It's a lot heavier because it's safer. It doesn't burst into flames.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
But it's got the other faults. It freezes. The petrol can freeze, but not as much as diesel.
Yeah.
But now they're putting chemicals in the diesel now to prevent it from freezing, but it's still heavy, so they don't use it in aircraft.
Right.
It would be perfect aircraft, you see, but like I said, it's too heavy. So is that not the case with gold? What they actually use the gold for, I don't know. All I can tell you about is what I experienced, what I went through. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And I try not to go into areas that, otherwise I'll end up like most of these people, like the James Casbourgs.
No, but the guys were obviously talking about it, which means that they understood
there's a value there.
Yes.
There was a concern about it, right? But as a 19-year-old lad who, like I said, didn't have any real education, half the time The only reason why I didn't understand what they were talking about, because I never heard the subject ever brought up in my life. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I knew gold, you made bracelets and things like that with it, and jewellery with it. But other than that, that's all I knew.
Right.
But since I came out of the armed forces, and because of the internet, I'm starting to put two and two together. Do you understand what they were saying?
Yeah, exactly.
You see, so I know they, like you, I realised though there was that it was more important, and what I realised at the time, if I knew that, then I would investigate it even more, because I was really curious when I was a young man, you know.
Yeah.
I really wanted to know what was really going on. It didn't take me very, very long to understand just about every country in the Middle East. When they explained it to us, I knew it straight away. Do you understand? Because the way they programmed us, do you understand that? It was like I didn't have to think very much about it. I just, I remember it straight away. They didn't have to tell us twice.
What do you mean every country in the Middle East?
Well, when we went to different countries, we had to have escape routes, right? Now, I didn't know what Cyprus was when I went out there. I couldn't tell you anything about the Middle East. I didn't know where all these countries were, what religions they had. I knew nothing. But when I was with them, they trained us into it. Who's my enemy, where's my enemy, and why? But that's just a figure of speech, the enemy bit. Do you understand? You look at, it's like if you went to the jungle, you say, right, what's in the jungle? What's there? What's the conditions like? You see, so you prepare yourself for that expedition you're going to do, right? But it's the same in the combat. Before we let the enemy know that we are their enemy or we're going to do something, we have to know all about them. We want to know exactly what their capabilities are, what weapons they've got, what they can use, how they react, how they feel, how they eat, how would we stand out from them. So I went into all of that. To do that, they had to show me their countries, their religions, all the things they ate and things like that. Do you understand? I had to know the people that countries that I was going to invade. I had to know everything about them. I had to know which was north, east, west and south. There was plan A, plan B, if things go wrong. How to get back, do you understand? Where the pickup points would be. All of that sort of thing. So I had to learn all about the neighbouring countries as well to where I was going, so I could escape if things did go wrong.
Right.
See, so it was all planned, and I do know it gets very cold in the desert at night. Now, and the reason why I say that, the SAS, when they went out to Iraq, the SAS Operation Bravo 20, when they landed in the middle of the desert, British uniforms on, with huge packs on their back, right? So the enemy didn't know they would be there because of the radar. They landed there. They stood out like sore thumbs, if you understand. The enemy would recognise them straight away. They were carrying huge bags, they had to carry lots of water with them because the loads they were carrying. When they did the operation and it got cold at night, one of them died. You know what they said? They didn't know it got that cold at night. These are the experts. One of them died because of the cold. They weren't wearing the right gear.
Right.
See, so they didn't do what we do. We check up on the country. We want to know all the conditions, and we take the appropriate gear with us. They didn't. They even took radios that had the wrong frequency. When they got there, they came across a young man saw them in this big hole in the ground where they put their tractors in because it was warmer there. Do you understand? Away from the winds. And when this young man came with the tractor to put it there, he saw the SAS there. He spotted them, so he went and told his uncle. There was no armies anywhere. He went and told his uncles. The 3 old gadgets came out, and they saw them, and the SAS were running away with their packs. They fired, they had AK-47s, they were firing them and waving their Shromaks. That means, we're friends, come and have tea. They didn't know that. They dropped all that gear and they ran. So when they say Bravo Suicide, the one that got away, he didn't, he ran away. And that's you want to hear the story they tell about that. But it was absolute really rubbish. But it was proven by one of their own men, SAS, who, when one of them died, the family of that guy who died, they wanted to know why he died. Why wasn't he protected? So this Michael Asher, the real story of Bravo 20, went out there because he lived out there. He understood the language and the people, and he followed the track. But he was so dumb, he should have realised before he started what he was doing. Because what he did was, as he backtracked, took the exact route that they took, when he met some of the Arabs and they found out it was a pure lies, he says, Bravo 20, zero is the word. He says, all lies, everything. But he was at SAS. He was condemning his own people. But he didn't realise that until he actually did it himself. Why didn't he know what I knew? When I first saw it, I said, that's rubbish, that couldn't have been done. He should have known that. But he didn't. He had to actually do the journey to discover that it was wrong. Another SAS guy.
Yeah.
You see? But again, that's what it's all about. You've got to understand the people around you. You've got to understand where you're going. And that's the sort of thing I was really trained in. You see? In the meantime, what you were saying is, they would have, when we had a break, they would have conversations and certain subjects would pop up, which they were more involved in than what I had been and prior to me meeting them.
Did they ever talk about any missions?
They talked about Chad. They went into Chad. I never went into Chad, anywhere near Chad. They went there, they were looking for something. I know it was something very important. And they said, again, they said something about something being covered in gold.
Yeah.
Covered in. And they were telling me how much of a laugh it was and how they did it. You know, it was a bit of a, it was so easy for them to do it.
What'd they do?
Well, they went in a part of Chad which they wouldn't tell us, and they picked up these containers, and they were telling me that the containers were covered with gold. You see? And then when Ken came in, he told me to get off the subject. Don't talk about it.
Containers.
Yeah, small containers covered with gold.
Nothing. You don't know.
I don't know what was inside. We didn't get that far. It was cut short. You shouldn't be. You know, don't get into that. He doesn't need to know that. It's more. It would be a bigger problem. This is. No, you don't want to do that. He's not fully prepared for things like that. He used to say. I didn't know what the heck they were talking about. So again, I was just a guy in the armed forces, basically.
No, I know. The Chad operation, anything else come up? Any other past operations?
Oh, they did lots of, oh yeah, they did one in Germany, they did one in England, you know, but they wouldn't say what they were. Then we had an awful habit of saying, oh, you know, it's not just the Middle East, you know. We've been in France, Germany, and Norway. And
at what point did you realize that the scientists you took out in Egypt had something to do with this, with the tablets? At what point did you realize that there was a connection between the people you were?
See, we did the Cairo operation, right? Well, last operation was Jaraba. This was a big thing. This is where most of the 16 was involved, either by transport or whatever. Do you understand? That was the biggest. That's when they actually told us. That's when I saw the tablets. But prior to that, I had no idea. They didn't want me to know, just in case we were captured in any way. Do you understand? I was looking for documents that involved nuclear weapons. That's what they told me. So when I went there, I actually took photographs of all the documents. We had these small little cameras. We all had them. And I took photographs of all the documents that was in that office. So I was just thinking the plans, and to understand, I wasn't looking for. They were searching everywhere, you know, and they didn't mention anything. It was only when we came back in Jaraba, one of them, I wouldn't say slipped up. When we're looking at these tablets, and like I said, it was dark. I could hardly see each other. And one of my team turned around and said, "What the hell do you think we're doing in Egypt?" And I heard Dynamo say, "Shut up, forget it. What did you say that for?" And that's when I started asking, "What do you mean in Egypt?" I said, "Well, what do you think we're after? We're after these bloody things." And they said, look, forget it. You don't need to know that. I said, you mean to tell me we were searching it out and I didn't know what I was searching for? Yeah, so well, we did. So it was a joke. Do you understand? Everything was relaxed. These people weren't scared of anything. Do you understand? It's like me. I can switch up my fear in that regards.
Yeah.
You can't scare. That's why when I came out, I did skydiving for 7 years on barracks, top cliff. I was instructor at paragliding. I had to be in the air. Anything that was exciting, dangerous.
Yeah,
that's why I took up hell driving, did stunts, jumping over cars, standing on top of cars on 2 wheels.
Yeah.
I had to do all that. Like I said, I had a bit of a breakdown after that, when when it all sort of came to an end. All that excitement came to an end. It started to get to us.
Yeah. So, just to go back again to the Bible and the emerald tablets.
Yeah.
So what you're saying that this was knowledge that was you said the Nazis probably had it, but that before, going back to Moses and these people, I mean, this is where the lineage came from Egypt, and Moses took it from Egypt, and that's why the Jews got this knowledge.
I don't know exactly who was in, like you said, Moses. I don't know. All I know is that the tablets have been taken from Egypt at some point. Exactly what point, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the only way you could get information off the tablets was either by putting them into something, like putting a DVD disc into a computer, because it was designed that way. You could see it was designed that way, right? We'll have to get an artist to draw them up exactly what they look like, because I remember them. I know exactly what they look like. And the other one was when one of the Dynamo and them put that thing on their hands to put it over the top of the one of those emerald tablets, and these little pictures came up on the top. So the pictures were, when he pushed his hand over, I could see all the different pictures and writing coming up, but it was done so quickly.
On the aluminum.
On the aluminum, the thing he had over his hand, that charged up when he put it on his hand. Just like watches can stop because the electricity in your body stops the watches. Some people have to have pads underneath so their watches can run, right? This thing charged up when he put it over his hand, and I could see it. I said, how come I've never seen that? Why haven't I seen that? You don't need to see it. That's why. That's what they used to say. You don't need to see it. Yeah.
But how do you know it came from Egypt originally? You're saying you don't know when?
Well, they used to talk about it. We should have got, it's a pity we hadn't been around then, they used to say, because certain things hadn't been picked up or something. There's certain things missing. In other words, the tablets themselves, there must have been some kind of tool that these things were put into to get the information off. Because you couldn't look at them and get the information off them.
Yeah.
There was some writing on the side and some...
Like the drive. They're like the disc, and you have to put them into a drive.
Yeah, you could see they were designed to be fitted into something.
Yeah.
Right? But they were kept on saying you need the 6 of them. And like I said, I keep asking, why 6? Well, because the information spread over the 6. You see? Unless you put the whole lot together, all the information comes up then as something you can read. Other than that, you can't read it. You see? So you'll have sentences or words, and that's what we believe. Again, that's only a belief, an idea that these people, when they must have got one of these tablets at least. That's what I believe. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But I understand that they've been playing about with the information. But I don't think they had the tools or the equipment to get into what was actually in the tablets, what was imprinted in the tablets, not the writing on the side or underneath. Do you understand? I think they've been playing about with what they could see, but I think they had to get some kind of device to bring up the information that was engraved on, just like a DVD disc. They had to get that information up somehow. But when it came up, half the information would be there. So they've been playing about with it. And I think this is where I believe that's where the the bell came in. I think that was part of the information they were trying to put together, but they thought they had an anti-gravity, because I got that information from them because they were talking about the bell and laughing about it.
Yeah, I understand.
You see?
But again, going back to the Jewish tradition, you said that the Jews or Hebrews had access to these tablets.
Well,
right?
remember they said the Jews were magic.
Well, what is
magic powers.
The Jews have magic powers.
Well, no, I don't say that. That's what it says. That's the story that's out there.
What do you mean?
Well, somewhere, I think it's in the Bible, isn't it? That the Jews had some kind of magic power. I heard that somewhere. It was all about the Jews had some kind of magic.
Well, some people say that's Kabbalah, or that's the secret Jewish traditions. Or Jews are naturally more magicians. You know, that's kind of legend. Well, I don't know.
It's like when I heard all of these stars saying I've sold me soul to the devil.
Yeah.
And that we're taking over. Well, that immediately sort of coincided with what I went through. Do you understand? I could see there was a connection here. I could see that these people were getting energies into them from somewhere else that had knowledge. You know, how they were doing that, you could see it in these people. Yeah. I couldn't sing that. I couldn't sing that music. I don't know where it come from, they said. You see? You can hear they all say that. We have to question more. Let's get some more, let's speak to these people if we can. We need to know exactly what's happening to these people. Once I get to understand that, then I'll be able to make connect with what I went through. You see? So, did these people drink something? Did they have some kind of electric device done to them prior to that? Do you understand? Where did this entity take over? At what point? Did it take over when they were on the stage?
Was it through a ritual? Was it the vibration, the music vibration?
We don't know.
Right.
Once we find that out, if we could find out at what point, was it prior to them going on the stage? Do you understand? Did they sit in a chair like I did and somebody put something on them? Right? Then something happened, then they get up and walk on the stage and they can sing and they can come up with music that's never...
Well, this is like the EST, the energy soul transfer, right?
Yeah, the EST means energy and soul transfer, but that's your whole energy, everything, including memory, transferred into another body. That's what they were after. Whether they've achieved that, I just don't know.
How do you know who was after it?
The elite, the people at the top, have been trying to create.
You'd heard about the EST from the 16?
Yeah, that's what. Oh, yeah. You've never heard of EST before?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I mean I know.
Nobody in this room's heard of EST.
I've heard of the soul machine. I've heard of machines that are there to capture soul energy after death. Yeah. But I've never heard the actual expression EST.
Yeah, the EST, like I say, I knew about that when I was out there. They were talking about EST. So I was really curious about it, and then, like I said, they didn't like to discuss it because I was too busy learning. They didn't want to distract us away from what I was learning. Do you understand? Don't forget, it was only 2 years of operations, you know.
But what were they saying in terms of EST?
Well, they said I heard them discussing it. Then I wondered if they achieved it, and I was just having a cup of tea at a distance, practicing. I used to throw knives at bits of wood and things like that, and and I was practicing with the sash. I had to practice all the time with it because each sash was different, made differently. Do you understand? So there was only like one size. Then I think I was only 30-inch waist or something, And I had this barrel with them, all different types in. It was so when we went to whatever country we went to, the belt wouldn't show up. Do you understand? It was something like what they would wear. Right. Do you understand?
Right.
Some were the catches were different.
Yeah.
There was one where they come together like that. They don't feed through anything.
Sure.
You've got like a piece of metal sticks out, and the other one's got like a hole, and it could be a badge on the side, and they come together like that, and there's a clip comes over the top. Some had a sliding clip, some had another clip that came down.
Yeah, I understand. You had to practice on each. Yeah. So, each belt had to fit the environment.
Yeah, so I had to flick it and it was away. So I was practicing that all the time. I was listening to these, you see. So I was just hearing odd conversations of them. You see, they would keep talking about EST. And then I used to stop what I was doing, come home and say, EST, yeah, you know what I mean. And then they would forget themselves thinking I knew all about it. EST, you know, energy and soul transport into another vessel. And the other one say, look, he hasn't been taught that. Oh, right, forget it. And it would end up like that. Later on, when I got to know them better, when I went through all the training, they used to sit and talk a little bit more about it. But they say, you know, when you die, well, these people don't want to die. I said, what do you mean they don't? Well, they don't want to be floating about there for millions of years, do they? Or thousands of years, could be anything. I said, these people don't want to die. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to get another body with a certain amount of information so they remember the previous life. And that's how they used to talk. So if they can create another body, not from birth, but if they can create another body, say at 20 years of age, and they can slip into it every time, then they have a 20-year-old body. You see? Yeah. It's going to grow old, but it
that's the cybernetics thing. That's the cybernetics movement.
Well, that's what
they want to preserve consciousness. They want to. There's a movie coming out with Johnny Depp called Transcendence about Johnny Depp dies and he puts his consciousness into a computer, and so that he can continue to live without a body. In this case, he's just a computer, but it's still, you know, it's supposed to be his consciousness.
Well, there's a problem there apparently. The energy and soul is dead until it has. This is our computer. The energy can't operate unless it has a computer. It's dead. Mm-hmm. We're just energy. Mm-hmm. As long as we're energy, we're nothing. We're dead.
Right, we're a spirit, we're just disembodied.
So the second we come into the body, then it's like you can't drive around the car unless you've got a car. You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Once you're in the car, then you can start doing things, but you can only do what the car is capable of doing.
Sure.
You see, so that's the point I was trying to make before. They want to make sure that the body they get into is in good condition, has the ability to think, to create, and that's the sort of body they want to be in. You see, so they're trying to dumb everybody else down. I don't know the full facts of that, but I know that they're trying to create a body. And they're trying to take their soul and energy into a body that has no problems, right? Has a good computer, lots of gigabytes, lots of terabytes, right? That's what they want to end up in. And they want to take a certain amount of memory with them so they can remember their previous lives. So it's again, when we're thinking the New World Order, what's the point of creating a New World Order, destroying all these countries? They're not going to be around to see it. What's the point? You know, if they're not going to see it, what's the point?
Right.
So this is why you have children. You see, you have children, and they carry the same DNA. And at some point, maybe your great-great-grandchildren or whatever, you'll be coming into that at some point. But you can't remember.
So the forgetting is a big problem. They don't want to forget.
They don't want to forget. They want to remember. And they want to make sure that the body that they're getting into hasn't got any problems. You know, it's not a crippled, not blind or anything like that. They want to make sure they're getting into a Rolls Royce body, if you like.
Sure.
That's what they want. But they don't want that for us. That's why they're mixing everything up. Understand? This is why they get breed with bloody animals even. See, they tried it with the dogs. It worked with the dogs.
How do you mean?
Well, you know these so-called pedigrees? They're not pedigrees. They're all mongrels, all half-breeds, a mix. Now, most of them are ill. They all suffer from something. It's only the wild dog up the mountains that's real. The one that man's never tampered with. Everything else, the second we tamper with it, and you're messing with nature.
Right. But again, that goes back to my question of, you know, whether or not they're playing with us, our genetics, and crossbreeding us to try to create this bizarre, you know, androgynous human that's part animal.
That's right.
But at the same time, they also want to wipe us out.
That's right.
Are those two strains of the same policy, or are they two different? Are they vying factions? Those that will keep humans basically as as some kind of pet, or those that want to kill us completely?
I think they want to kill us completely at some point, but need us to do the work for them to create things. I think. Do you understand?
Exactly.
To do the underground shelters they've got and things like that. They need to do a certain amount of work.
Yeah.
They need slaves, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
But don't forget, even if they weren't there, and these elite weren't there, and we were when we were born, we would still have the same problem. We've got to find food,
Mm-hmm.
right? We've got to build houses. If we're not capable of doing it, you know, then we're not going to have a house. You see, so when you get people saying we are slaves and all that, so that's to me that's absolute rubbish. Man's never had it so good.
Mm-hmm.
Man's got cars. Man has the ability to go on holiday.
Mm-hmm.
He can enjoy himself. I can't see where that is. In the 1940s, you couldn't do that. You couldn't go on holiday.
Yeah, you could.
No, well, you might. But you ask people in Britain during the war, we couldn't go. We went on holiday.
Well,
we went
during the war.
locally.
Sure.
We couldn't afford to fly in airplanes. We couldn't afford to have cars. We couldn't afford to have a bicycle.
Yeah, there has been evolution. Technology allows evolution. The whole point is that as long as we utilize technology for our progress.
That's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
If it hasn't been for the clever people, the people at the top, we wouldn't have what we've got. We wouldn't have hospitals. People were dying of the common cold. We don't do that now. All of this, we're being poisoned. I can't say that. People are living longer now than they've ever lived.
Mm-hmm.
So that there is something happening here. I'm not quite sure what it is.
Right.
I know that they're trying to mix our DNA. You can see that. It's taking place. Right? There's so many like gays and you know, strange people. There's so many strange people now. You can see it. Like ladyboys.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I understand.
It's all the evidence is there. It's not me inventing it.
No, Lady Gaga. Come on, it's Marilyn Manson, Lady Gaga. It's the movement towards this kind of androgynous culture.
That's right. So there's obviously a reason for that. Why they're allowing it to happen. Why they're encouraging it to happen. Because they're encouraging it now.
Right.
Right. Now, again, I'm not qualified really to go into them areas.
Yeah.
You know, if you want somebody bumped off, I'm the man to see. but other than that, I can only tell you what I experienced, what I went through, and why we went through it, why it was a form of fear elimination. I had to understand what was going on to a certain degree, and degrees keep coming up, don't they?
So you have no idea what happened to the tablet after the 16 got hold of it?
I just know the runners took them away to make sure that it didn't fall into the wrong hands, whoever the wrong hands were.
And who's the right hands? We don't
The
know.
idea was to keep this planet going as it is, with the type of races that are here. It was all meant to keep it as it is, as nature intended.
Okay.
Right? So that's what they were after, maintaining things as they are. The others were wanting to use the same information to destroy her. So that's, I believe I was on the right side to keep things as they are, because this is my environment. This is the world I live in. They're trying to change it and get rid of us.
Right.
So, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. How's the storm? It's windy out there.
Somebody said.
10 minutes on this tape if you want to just change tapes as well.
Yeah, let's just take a break. And
Just take a break.
Let's take a little break and we'll come back.
It'll give Sean time to gather his thoughts.
That's kind of good.
You know, when you mentioned Johnny Depp, there's a film of Johnny Depp speaking, saying he won't watch himself because that's not me on that stage.
Yeah. No, he gets possessed by the captain from the Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's it. And he says that's not me, he won't watch it.
That character keeps coming into him all the damn time. But you know what I think happened to Johnny Depp? My theory. He was in